Hey everyone, lovely travelers, people of the world. Are you thinking about buying a home in Cape Town? Can you actually afford that house in Cape Town? Guys, I'm going to show you today. Come into the office and let's see if you can actually afford that dream home in Cape Town. I'm going away from the controversial videos this week and last week just to calm it down a little bit. But next week it's coming back. But hey, now this week I just want to talk to you about how much home you can actually afford in Cape Town. How much home can you afford to purchase? Is it affordable? Are you able to do it? Last week we talked about relocating and the price and the costs of relocating down to this side of the world. But in general, if you want to purchase a home, how much can you afford? No matter where you are in the country actually. But we'll talk about Cape Town and what the houses cost here.
What is it you wanted to show me?
That, Brian.
Well, it's a rundown old house.
Well, yes, I suppose to the untrained eye that's what it would look like. Walk inside with me, Brian.
This is disgusting. It smells, it's falling apart, you can hear the mice humping in the wall.
Oh, that was so awesome.
That's why we can get it for a steal, Brian. We fix it up and sell it for a huge profit.
You're crazy. No, I'm not going to buy this house with you.
Fine, I'll just give the profits to another investor. Plenty of others interested.
Oh yeah, like who?
Mort Goldman, for one. Says it's a smart investment, but what does he know? He's only Jewish.
All right, I'm in.
Perfect. By Christmas, you and I are going to be richer than Bob Saget.
How can you afford that property? Now, one of the big difficulties you're going to have if you're purchasing another home, and let's say we're going to assume that you don't have cash, because there are those people that can sell a couple of homes somewhere else and bring a whole lot of cash with and purchase a home cash, and that's a completely different scenario. And particularly if you're older like myself, an old man, you might have the money just lying around in your bank account. Not to say I do, but you might, and you can go and purchase that home of your dreams in the town of your dreams. But there are those that move down with families and they need to take a bank loan to afford the home that they're going to purchase. And how does that work? How does the financing on that actually take place? And it's really simple at the end of the day. And I don't have to make a really long video about this, and I don't have to give you a spreadsheet about this, and I don't have to go down the road of really complicated figures. I can make this really simple for you. If you're going to build a home in Cape Town, it's going to cost you between 12 and 25,000 Rand a square meter, depending on the people you build it with and the architect you use, and also the size of the property. The bigger the property, the cheaper it is per square meter, because most of your costs per square meter in building, I don't know if you know this, generally come from the fittings in the property. For example, kitchens, bathrooms, and really expensive points of the house, the tiling and all that sort of stuff. So the bigger it is, the cheaper it becomes. For example, building a garage is a lot cheaper than building a bathroom. So that's where your price per square meter will make a difference. And also in the type of builder that you use, you want to use a reputable builder that's not going to build you a piece of rubbish at the end of the day. But keep in mind, guys, that building is very, very expensive. So if you build a property from scratch, you have to buy the land. Okay, you save on the transfer fees because up to R1 million it's transfer fee free. And also it's a lot cheaper if you spend 2 million Rand on a property. Transfer fees are only on $1 million. So you're going to save a couple of 100,000 on the transfer fees. But where it's going to cost you is in the building costs. So something that you could build for, let's say 5 million Rand, including the property, might cost you 3 million Rand if you just go and buy a second-hand home outright. This much I've seen around the landscapes and what have you, but that does depend on where you build it. For example, a home in Camps Bay could cost you 20 million Rand and it could cost you maybe 5 million Rand to build it. The property that you're purchasing is going to cost you 10 million Rand anyway, because that's the property cost and the value of the property that you're building it on, where all the costs are. So, but you can get away with building a home in these areas because of the value of the properties in those areas. But if you're talking about a normal area like on the west coast, let's say a Table View or an Azafontein or a Somerset West on the other coast, there your houses are more in the region of 2 to 20 million. So let's take an average cost of a 3 million Rand house, 3.5 million Rand, let's say. So 3.5 million Rand, average cost of a decent 3-bedroom home in these areas. To build that's going to cost you too much, because you've got to pay 2 million Rand just for the land, and then you've got to spend on building the house. So you're going to do much better buying a second-hand home, 3.5 million Rand. But can you afford that? A 3.5 million Rand home, you can just basically take it on a sort of 10% scenario. You could say it's going to cost you around 35,000 Rand a month. It might be a little bit more now, not much though. So you're looking at 35,000 Rand per month. To qualify for that 35,000 Rand per month bond, you and your spouse, or you as you are alone, or whatever the situation, need to earn a combined income of around 120,000 Rand a month to afford that loan or to be able to get that loan. Now here's the thing to keep in mind, guys. Make sure that you don't have any marks on your credit record, like a stupid Edgar's account that somehow wasn't paid for 50 Rand somewhere down the line, or a cell phone account, or something equally ridiculous that's tiny that's got overlooked in your credit record. Make sure that's clean before you go and apply for your loan, or it will be rejected. The other thing I always tell people to look out for is if you apply for a loan, don't go and buy a new car at the same time. So let's say you move down to Cape Town, you're all good, you're going to buy a new home, and while you're there you might as well get a new car. Don't do that. You can't do them together, because what it does is it affects your credit score. So the minute you go and buy that new car, while you're applying for a loan, your credit score changes. The bank looks at that and they reject your home loan, and you're sitting with a problem. So buy your home first, get your home, and then go and buy your car. That way around, it kind of works okay. But if you go and buy your car while you're buying your house, you're going to have a problem. And that's how easy it is to afford a property in Cape Town. You're going to need to get a nice home, in a nice area, in a better area, similar to where you're living at the moment. You're most likely going to need about 3.5 million Rand, which means you're going to need 30 to 35,000 Rand a month, depending on the deposit you put down. So if you bought a house for 3.5 million Rand, and of course you put 1 million Rand down, you're going to only pay 25,000 Rand a month, because you only need a loan 2.5 million Rand. But keep in mind, when you buy the property for 3.5 million Rand, you're going to have transfer duty and lawyer's fees to the amount of around 350,000 Rand to pay.
The Mediterranean diet is widely considered one of the healthiest diets there is. After all, it avoids processed foods and is built on a bedrock of super healthy foods such as olive oil, greens, nuts, berries, and fish. Oh, and let's not forget the red wine. However, Egyptian scientists have recently uncovered an ancient Mediterranean ritual that studies show can deliver 11 times better fat loss results than the diet itself. Plus, this ancient Mediterranean ritual naturally purifies and detoxifies the body at the same time. Tap below to see how and why it works so well.
And that you have to pay out of your pocket. So don't forget that. Can you afford the 350,000 Rand you have to pay out of your pocket? Also, you're going to need a deposit on the house that you're purchasing, probably 10%. That's another 350,000 Rand. The reason I tell you this is because the bank will not give you a 100% loan on any loans more than 3.5 million Rand on normal circumstances. So you're looking at needing 700,000 to 800,000 Rand upfront when you purchase your new home in Cape Town. Just a little bit of information, just a little bit of advice. I hope that helps you guys, and I hope it does something towards your move if you're relocating, and I hope it helps you understand if you can afford a home in Cape Town. Stop thinking of Camps Bay and Clifton unless you've got 60 to 100 million Rand, or Camps Bay 20, 25, 30, 40 million Rand, because that's how much the houses cost there. There are areas where houses are 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5 million Rand. There are even cheaper areas, and there are even more expensive areas, but that's your general consensus. Guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to watch the last video. Till next week. Cheers. Ciao. Bye.